Hi guys, in this video we will be taking a look at solving linear inequalities involving 1, 2 and possibly even 3 steps for solving inequalities. Right guys, so this topic links to solving linear equations. So it's the exact same idea and method, except instead of just a equal sign, we're going to leave our answer in terms of the sign or signs that it is given to us in the question. Okay, question number 1, guys. Solve each of these inequalities below. X plus 4 is greater than 9. So let's just solve this here, guys. Okay, X plus 4 is greater than 9. So if I was to subtract 4 on both sides, the opposite of adding 4 is to subtract 4. So I get X is greater than 5. So this symbol here means greater than, so it means bigger than. So X has to be bigger than 5. So that is the answer for question 1A, guys. Okay, question number 2. X minus 3 is less than 2. Well, adding 3 to both sides of my inequality, so balancing both sides, X is less than 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. So X is less than 5. Part C. 2x is less than or equal to 14. 2x means 2 times x. So dividing both sides by 2. Because the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So x is less than or equal to 7. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Part D. 8x is less than 16. Dividing both sides by 8, guys. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So x is less than 2. For part E, guys, 5x is greater than or equal to 15. Dividing both sides by 5, guys, I get that x is bigger than or equal to 3. 15 divided by 5 is 3, guys. For part F, x divided by 3 is greater than 4, timesing both sides by 3, guys. So 4 times 3 is 12. So x is greater than 12. 4 times 3 is 12, guys. For part G, x divided by 5 is less than or equal to 2. Timesing both sides by 5, we get that x is less than or equal to 10. 2 times 5 is 10, guys. For part H, x plus 6 is greater than or equal to 4. Subtracting 6 on both sides, I get that x is bigger than or equal to 4 take away 6, which is negative 2 or minus 2. 4 take away 6 is minus 2, guys. This is question number 2, guys. Solve each of the inequalities below. Part A, 2x plus 1 is less than or equal to 9. Minusing 1 on both sides. Okay, so let's just work it out here, guys. So we got a bit more space. So subtracting 1 on both sides gives me 2x is less than or equal to 8. 9 take away 1 is 8. Dividing both sides by 2, I get that x is less than or equal to 4. Okay, so for part A, the answer is x is less than or equal to 4, guys. Okay, so question 2 is requiring 2 steps, guys. Okay, so question 1 requires 1 step to get my answer. Question 2 requires 2 steps. For part B, 3x minus 5 is greater than 16. Adding 5 to both sides. Okay, so I get 3x is greater than 21. Dividing both sides by 3, because 3x means 3 times x. X is 21 divided by 3, which is 7. So x is greater than 7 for part B. For part C, 4x plus 8 is less than 32. Subtracting 8 on both sides, okay, I get that 4x is less than 24. Dividing both sides by 4, we get that x is less than 6 for part C. So x is less than 6, guys. For part D, 5x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 68. Adding 2 to both sides, so we get 5x is greater than or equal to 70. Dividing both sides by 5. Okay, so 70 divided by 5 is 14. So x is greater than or equal to 14. For part E, x over 2 plus 1 is less than or equal to 5. Minusing 1 on both sides, I get x is less than 2, is less than or equal to 4. Timesing both sides by 2, I get that x is less than or equal to 8. For part F, x over 9 minus 6 is greater than 4. Adding 6 to both sides, we get that x over 9 is bigger than 24. Sorry, bigger than 10. Sorry, 4 plus 6 is 10. And then timesing both sides by 9, I get that x is greater than 90 for F, guys. Okay, so that's my answer for F. For part G, I'm going to times both sides by 2 and then subtract 3. So x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 10. Oops. Minusing 3 on both sides gives me that x is greater than or equal to 7. For part H, x minus 5 all over 4 is bigger than 2. Timesing both sides by 4 gives me x minus 5 is greater than 8. Adding 5 to both sides, we get that x is greater than 13. Okay, this is question number 3, guys. Solve each inequality below and represent the solution on a number line. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this section here, so I've got a bit more space. And let's just change colour so it's a bit easier. So if we solve 4x plus 7 is greater than 11, sorry, is less than 11, in the same way as we did in question 2. So subtract 7 on both sides. So we get 4x is less than 4. And then dividing both sides by 4, we get that x is less than 1. Now, on a number line, okay, it's going to look something like this. It is a rough sketch. We got 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and then the number line just carries on. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's saying x is less than 1. So it's a hollow circle and it's going in this direction. Okay, so it's less than 1. So the values of x it can be is 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, so on and so forth. Okay, provided that the number is smaller than 1. Okay, so that's my answer for question 3, guys. Okay, so that's my number line that I've drawn. So let's just delete this now that we've done this question. Okay. For part B, we've got 3x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 10. Okay, so this time I'm going to be adding 2 to both sides. So adding 2 and adding 2, we have that 3x is greater than or equal to 12. Dividing both sides by 3, we get that x is greater than or equal to 4. Okay, so dividing both sides by 3. Now let's just keep like this number line here actually to like make it a bit easier. So for part B, just to be clear actually, for part B, it's going to be a circle that's actually shaded actually because I've got an equal sign here, and it's going to go in this direction. So it's any number bigger than 4. So it can be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so on and so forth. And it can also be 4 because it's saying x is bigger than or equal to 4. So x can equal 4 for part B. Okay. So I hope that makes sense so far. Okay. For part D, we've got x over 2 minus 3 is bigger than 0. Well, what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I get x over 2. So adding 3 to both sides gets it. So x over 2 is bigger than 3. Timesing both sides by 2, we get that x is greater than 6. Okay, so this time here, guys, following like the same number line actually, but a different colour. It's going to be a hollow circle, and it's going to go in the right direction. So it's going to go towards the right. So the values it can be are 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, etc., etc. for that one. Okay, and the last one for part D, guys. Okay, so hopefully you're still with me so far. Okay, so for part D, I'm going to times both sides by 4. So we're going to get x plus 18. Oops, there's a 15 there. X plus 18 is less than or equal to 20. Subtract 18 on both sides. We get that x is less than or equal to 2. Okay, which looks something like this. So it is a coloured in circle because of that equal sign at the bottom, and it's all numbers that are smaller than 2. Okay, so this is my answer for part D. This is my answer for part C. This is my answer for part B. Okay, this is my answer for part A. So part D, that's going to be C, sorry. So B and A on a number line. Okay. Next question, guys. So solve the inequalities below. 5 lots of x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 40. So expanding that bracket out, I'm going to get 5x minus 15 is greater than or equal to 40. Adding 15 to both sides, we're going to get 5x is greater than or equal to 55. Dividing both sides by 5, we get that x is greater than or equal to 11. Okay, so that's my answer for 4 part A. Now, I'm not going to do every single question, guys, because it's going to end up being a very, very, very long video. But I'm going to just pick like random ones actually. So feel free to have a go, okay, at all the questions here or the ones that I'm doing. Yeah, because it is a very, very, very similar process to what I'm doing every time. Okay, I'm going to try part C now, and then I'll do part E, I think. Just obviously mix it up a bit, so let's just delete everything here so we have space. Okay, part C. I've got 2 lots of 5x plus 1 is less than or equal to 36. So expanding this bracket out, 2 times 5x is 10x, 2 times 1 is positive 2, and that's less than or equal to 36. Subtracting 2 on both sides, I get that 10x is less than or equal to 34. Dividing both sides by 10, we get that x is less than or equal to 3.4, guys, or 34 over 10. Okay, I'm just going to put 3.4 here. Okay, so that's the answer for part C. Okay, I'm going to jump on to part E now. So expanding this bracket, 2 times 2x is 4x, and then 2 times minus 9 is minus 18. That's greater than or equal to 22, and then add 18 to both sides of my inequality, so balance the inequality, guys. 4x is greater than or equal to 40, and then dividing both sides by 4, it's going to be x is greater than or equal to 10. Okay, so that is my answer for that one. Right, we will do a few questions from question 5. So we will do one question 5, and then we will do a couple from the other questions as well. Okay. So we'll look at part A, guys. 4x plus 3 is greater than 2x plus 11. So minusing 2x on both sides. So 4x minus 2x is 2x. So 2x plus 3 is greater than 11. Minusing 3 on both sides. So 11 take away 3 is 8. Dividing both sides by 2, and we get that x is greater than 4. Okay, so that's my answer for part A. Okay, then 4. Right, guys, so let's jump on to question 5 now. Okay, find the largest integer that satisfies the inequalities below. So I'm going to pick a few questions from here. Part A, x plus 3 is less than 9. So minusing 3 on both sides gives us that x is less than 6. Now, the largest integer means the biggest whole number that satisfies this. So for this case, it's going to be 5 for part A. For part B, minusing 5 on both sides, I get 2x is less than 7. Dividing both sides by 2, I get that x is less than 3.5. So the smallest whole number that fits this inequality is going to be 3, because 3 is smaller than 3.5. Okay, we're now going to jump on to part E. X divided by 4 plus 3 is less than 8. So let's just move it here. We've got a bit of space for working. So minusing 3 on both sides gives us x over 4 is equal to 5. Timesing both sides by 4, I get that x is less than 20. Okay, so that is my answer for that one. And the smallest integer that satisfies this inequality is going to be 19. Okay, so that is my answer for that one, guys. For question 7, find the smallest integer that satisfies these inequalities. Okay, so let's just look at part A together. So adding 5 to both sides, I get that 2x is greater than or equal to 17. Dividing both sides by 2, I get that x is greater than or equal to 8.5. 8.5. So the smallest integer that satisfies this, okay, would be, for our case here, so it'd be any number less than 8. Okay, so the largest possible value the smallest possible value would have to be that x would have to be equal to 9, because that's the smallest one, essentially. Okay, for part B, 4x is greater than 9. Dividing both sides by 4, we get that x equal to 9 quarters, or 2.25. So the smallest integer that will feel will be 3 for that one. Okay, right guys, moving on to question 8. So I'm going to pick like a few examples here. Okay, solve the inequalities below. So here I've got 2 sets of inequalities. So if I minus 3 on both inequalities, so both sides, 6 take away 3 is 3. So 3 is less than x, and that's less than 7. Okay. For part B, dividing both sides by 2, we get that 2 is less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 3 halves, or 3.5. Sorry, 7 halves, or 3.5. This one, dividing everything by 3, we get that 1/3 is less than or equal to x, which is smaller than 9. Okay, sorry, smaller than 3, sorry. Okay, and then we'll do part E. Okay, we're going to minus 3 on both sides and then divide by 2. So 2x is equal to 22, and then greater than or equal to 6. Dividing both sides by 2. Okay, let's just do it here, guys, so we have a bit more space. Oops, sorry. Gonna have the x lies between 3 and 11. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Sorry if it's not very clear. So x has to lie between 3 and 11. Okay, including those numbers. So 3 less than x less than equal to 11. Okay, dividing it both by 2. Okay, right, we will now look at question 9, and I will look at A, B, and C, I think. Okay, find the integers that satisfy the inequalities below. So x is bigger than 5 and less than 9. It can be 6, 7, and 8 for that one. Okay, for part B, minus 3 is less than x, less than or equal to 1. Minus 2, minus 1, 0, and 1. Okay, because it's got like that little line beneath the 1, so it's less than or equal to 1, so it can be equal to 1, guys. For part C, dividing both sides by 2, we get that 2 is less than x, less than or equal to 4. So x can be equal to 2, 3, and 4 for part C, okay? So x can equal 2, 3, and 4 for part C. Okay, right guys, so that is the end of the video. So sorry that I haven't managed to cover every single question, but hopefully you were able to gather the general idea and ideology about how to solve inequalities. Okay, so it's just balancing both sides. So it's the same as solving an equation, but keeping the inequality sign the same. And the last point to mention here is that if I multiply or divide by a negative number, then the sign actually switches. Okay, so if I have, for example, if I have minus x is less than 1, okay, if I was to find what x is, multiply through by minus 1, the sign actually flips, okay? So if you multiply or divide by a negative number, the sign switches, okay? So it switches its way round, okay? Right guys, so that is the end of today's video. I hope you found it useful. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, drop the video a like, okay, click that bell icon to turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on further and regular uploads for Key Stage 3 Maths, GCSE Maths and A-Level Maths. Okay, stay safe guys, stay healthy, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Okay, bye for now.